Our leading humanitarian aid group is accusing the European Union of being complicit in the torture, killing and rape of migrants in the Libyan detention camps. The system is partially run by armed militias and human smugglers, and critics say the EU is supporting these groups in return for stemming the flow of migrants across the Mediterranean Sea. And Ridgwell reports from London.
Thousands of migrants desperate to get to Europe are being held in detention centres across Libya. Conditions are better at camps like this one, run by the UN's International Organization for Migration. But away from the cameras and the glare of the global media, aid group Doctors Without Borders says armed militias in Libya are detaining migrants in horrific conditions, where they are subject to torture, rape, starvation and killing.
And basically, how I will describe those detention centers are, for me, manufacture of suffering at industrial level.
Migrants picked up at sea by Libya's EU-sponsored Coast Guard are sent back into the country's murky detention system. MSF describes it as a thriving enterprise of kidnapping, torture and extortion, and accuses Europe of complicity.
Are they okay with containing and sending people back to where they would be raped, tortured, and enslaved? Are they okay aiding and abetting criminals and smugglers?
The EU's Executive Commission denies ignoring the treatment of migrants in Libya. Italy has led the European operations there. Speaking Thursday, Italy's Prime Minister pledged he will demand improved conditions in the detention centres.
But this commitment cannot go against our commitment to fight against the human smugglers and the flow of migrants into our countries.
The EU is struggling to balance public pressure to end the migration crisis with the bloc's much vaunted human rights values, says Libya analyst Riccardo Fabiani.
This is the problem and the paradox here, that Europe needs, at least from the point of view of the authorities, to do something about migration, to reduce migration, and the only way to do it, again, from the point of view of the authorities, is to reach a deal with the various parties and actors involved in human trafficking. But the price to pay for this is human rights violations, effectively accepting that a degree of violence and human rights violation will take place.
Fabiani says Europe appears increasingly willing to pay that price to end the crisis. Henry Ridgwell for VOA News, London.